In this tutorial, we will see how we can quickly and easily copy and place objects. For example, a building like this barn. We can select the building by clicking on it with the left mouse button. Objects may be composed of a number of sub-objects arranged in a hierarchy. If we look at our building, we can see a little plus symbol in the scene graph. Clicking on it will expand the list so we can see the underlying hierarchy. Under the object hayloft, we can see the sub-objects hayloft bridge, hayloft door left, hayloft door right, hayloft floor, and hayloft lots. As such, we need to make sure that we always select the parent object in the scene graph before we make any changes. The parent object is always listed at the top of the hierarchy. If we don't, we may find that we're only moving a single door of our building rather than the whole thing. So we select the parent object, hayloft, and make a copy of it by pressing Ctrl D. The building, along with all its sub-objects, is then duplicated and placed at the bottom of the active hierarchy. If we then move it, we can see that the original stays in place, while our duplicate is now next to it. If we scroll upwards slightly in the scene graph, we can see there's a transform group called Farm. When we select this group, we can see that all the objects in the farm are included in this transform group. When creating your own maps, it makes sense to create these kinds of groups to make keeping track of things a bit easier. We'll therefore first create our transform group under Create Transform Group. The group now appears in the scene graph at the bottom of the list and is simply called Transform. If we select the group, we can give it a new name in the Attributes menu, for example, Haylofts. Now we'll add a couple of objects to our transform group. To do this, simply select the buildings while holding the Ctrl key before cutting them with Ctrl X. Then we select the Haylofts group and paste our building in with Ctrl V. Now we'll move on to another useful function of the Giants editor, a handy shortcut for placing objects. First, we select the object we want to place and press Ctrl B. Now, as long as we keep the left mouse button held down, the object will follow the cursor along the terrain, reorientating itself automatically. This makes it much easier to place objects on the map. Planting trees can also be an arduous task, having to duplicate and place each one. Fortunately, we have yet another time-saving tip. When you have an object selected and have pressed Ctrl B, clicking and holding down the left mouse button will let you place the object repeatedly. If we do this and press the Shift key, we can keep the same rotational values, placing each of our objects with the same orientation. However, if we press the Control key instead, each object we place will be randomly rotated around its y-axis and acquire a different orientation. By using these two functions, we can, for example, quickly cover large areas of our map with trees. Once we have finished editing our mod map, all that's left to do is to save our work and load it into Farming Simulator 15.